We were just talking about the differences between starting and creating a container. Along the way, we ran the command docker create, and then something like busybox echo hi there. We then got this printout of the container ID that was created, and then we found that we could start up the container by running docker start and then pasting the ID in. However, there is a little catch to that. We found that in order to actually see information being printed out from the container, we had to add in that -a flag right there. So what would happen if you wanted to get all the output from the container without having to add in that -a flag? For example, let's imagine that running docker start like this was a really expensive process, and we started up a process inside there that would take many minutes to run. Chances are, if we forgot to add on the -a flag to see the output from that, we might be a little bit frustrated with ourselves, because then we would have to rerun docker start -a a second time and wait another couple minutes. In order to get around that, we can make use of an additional command of docker logs and then the ID of the container that we want to get output from. The logs command can be used to look at a container and retrieve all the information that has been emitted from it. Let's try using that docker create, start, and then logs command again and seeing what happens. So I will do docker create busybox, and I will echo hi there. I'll then take that ID and run docker start and paste the ID. That starts up the container. It executes echo hi there inside of it, and then it immediately exits. And so now at this point, I want to go back to that stopped container and get all the logs that have been emitted inside of it. So to do so, I can run docker logs and then paste that ID in. And I'll see that when the container had been running, it had printed out the string hi there. One thing to be really clear about is that by running docker logs, I'm not rerunning or restarting the container in any way, shape, or form. I'm just getting a record of all the logs that have been emitted from that container. The docker logs command is something that we're going to be using quite a bit as we are trying to debug or set up new containers, because as you can see, it's a really good way to kind of inspect a container and see what's going on inside of it. All right, still a couple more commands to get through, so let's take another quick pause right here and continue in the next section.